Welcome to Ghost Powered Entertainment. My name is Kainan Becker, and today I do a review on Scream Factory's recent release onto Blu-ray of a criminally underrated film called The Hills Run Red. First things first, I made this babyface mask, and I've decided to do a giveaway. All you have to do to enter is hit the subscribe button and the like button and leave a comment. If you are subscribed and you have left a comment, that will put you into the drawing that will be held on August 10th. I will pay for shipping unless you're out of the US, and then shipping will be on you. But if you're in the States, shipping's on me, totally free. I'll ship this to your front door and it'll be all yours. And just make sure that you enter by August 10th. So I believe that this movie is criminally underrated by the horror community. I love that it was just released onto Blu-ray by Scream Factory, and it is outstanding if you're a fan of this movie. There's commentary, there's a full, really in-depth interview with the director, really fantastic special features on this. And like I said, if you're a fan of this, you will definitely love the special features on this Blu-ray. But the movie, it's not perfect. You know, this is not a movie that is going to go down as one of the greatest horror movies of all time or anything like that. But if you are into the more small budget, unique type of horror, this is a great one in that genre. This movie fits right in there with Hatchet and Terrifier and other small movies along those lines. But I feel like this has got a unique story to it, which is part of what I'm really drawn to about it. The story is basically there's a guy who's obsessed with this movie that was released way back in the early 80s by a director, Kainan. Basically, it's the only movie this guy ever did, and then he vanished. And it's supposed to be one of the scariest horror movies ever made. So this guy is obsessed with trying to get a copy of it and watch this movie. So he decides he's going to make a documentary film about the movie and about the director, etc. And he comes across the daughter of the guy who shot this movie, Kainan. So he decides he's going to track her down, and he's going to make this documentary with his best friend and his girlfriend. And so the movie is basically they are on their way to try to track down footage of the movie, or at least the house that her father lived in, and find out whatever they can and make their own little documentary about it. So it's got this movie within a movie cool element to it as well. I love that there's a really cool preview of the movie and footage of the movie inside of the movie. It's done in a really cool way, and I really like that part about it too. But seriously, Babyface is one of the most badass slasher monsters in the business. And for everybody out there who's loving on Terrifier, which don't get me wrong, I love Art the Clown, I love Terrifier, but if you're into that and you have not seen Hills Run Red, you got to go out, get a copy online. I would get the Blu-ray like I did from Scream Factory. It was only like $20. This movie is very gritty, very brutal, very bloody. Once Babyface is introduced, it's just bloody, gruesome, great slasher monster. Very much more of a monster slasher than it is like a real world slasher. So this isn't really along the lines of Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Hills Have Eyes. This is more of a Freddy, Jason, Hatchet, in that. A little bit of over the top, a little bit of supernatural, that kind of slasher horror, than it is the more realism type of stuff. So go into it thinking of along those lines, and I think you'll have a great time with this movie. One of the things I loved the most on the Blu-ray was the behind the scenes making of this movie. And it was really great to see how they pulled off a lot of these special effects. There wasn't much CGI used. Most things were done practical, and you see a lot of the ways they did it. I highly recommend watching the movie first, though, because if you haven't watched the movie, the behind-the-scenes stuff is going to ruin some of it for you. So a lot of the reason why this movie didn't get a bigger release, and I think didn't get more support when it came out, is it deals with some pretty gruesome elements, kid brutality, incest, rape, things like that, and then it also is very gory and very bloody. So if you're not into that type of horror, like stuff that goes over that line, this is probably not your thing. If you're into horror, for the most part, that's stuff that's kind of part of most of our favorite horror movies as it is. So I definitely feel like the cast, the director, the producers, like everybody involved in this movie really did give it all they had. And you can kind of feel that when you're watching this movie. It's really cool because it talks in the Blu-ray about how this wasn't filmed in this country, and so they had to take and recreate like a gas station and signage and different things and make it look and feel more good old Texas America. And so I thought that was pretty funny and pretty interesting. I love the character Babyface. I love his backstory. I love his gruesome, just big, bad, break you in half type of way of being. Like I said, he's been one of my favorite horror monsters for probably about 10 years now, since I first discovered this movie on DVD. If you are really into Terrifier and art, then I feel like you definitely got to check out Babyface. He is worth watching this movie just for him. Alright guys, so I definitely recommend this movie, and I hope you take the time to check this movie out. Hills Run Red. And please, once again, enter to win my mask of Babyface that I made till August 10th. Guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.